All right, cool. I started the timer. So welcome y'all to Radio Colorado. Like I guess that's the name I'm calling it because I don't really have a legit name.
I like it. I
Fuck
like
it,
it.
that works.
Yeah.
Buenas
I like it.
noches. Estamos aquí en la estación de Radio Colorado. So I'll ask the first question, but you guys are open to asking each other questions, whatever you guys want to talk to each other about. So like this way, can I just get it started? I mean, like most of my questions are revolve around music and specifically like you guys's like skills and experiences around like the music scene in LA. So my first question is basically like this is for me because I'm very curious. Like, why did you guys choose music? Like, did something happen in your life that kind of pushed you towards that direction?
That's kind of a hard question to answer. That's like there's like so many things you could say about that.
Pick one.
I mean, I guess for me, I got into music and it just ended up being like my favorite thing, right? And I just wanted to be part of that. Like I used to go to like all the local backyard shows around like Rancho and Fontana and stuff. And then like just getting deeper and deeper into music through that, like finding out more about different kinds of music and different kinds of bands and seeing all these bands live. Like I just wanted to be, up on the stage playing live too. And then like for like everything that I get involved with and that I try, like any type of artistic thing, the only thing I ever really seem to stick with is music anyway.
Cool. What about you, Luis?
I got hooked early. I always loved singing to songs on the radio. Way early on, it's one of the first things I remember. And then when I was about 4, I think, I was 4. My parents they saw that I liked singing and stuff, so they got me this little electronic keyboard thing. And I couldn't read the music because I hadn't had any classes or anything, but I started picking out notes on the keyboard, and I was able to do it. I figured out Silent Night for some reason. That was the first song I ever learned. I just started doing it by ear, and it just went, and it kind of went from there. And then it's always been the only thing that really makes me happy. After that, after maybe a year, the keyboard broke, and I didn't follow up on it. My family, I couldn't get anything else, so I didn't do anything for a long time because I figured, well, that ship has sailed, and you have to start young to get good. So I just figured, well, I'm never doing it. I loved it, but I couldn't do it because, unfortunately. But then when I was about 17, this guy that worked with my mom found this crappy Korean guitar, a classical guitar in the trash somewhere. And he said, well, it's not broken. It just looks kind of messed up. Maybe you could fix it or something. So I ended up doing that. And it took me a while to fix it up, but I did. And then just started learning that way. And that's how it's, so, I started a little later and then some other stuff happened, but that's how I kept going. And when it resonates, it just keeps you going and it carries, 30 plus years later, it's the one thing I truly love. I mean,
can we talk about trash can guitars?
We can go back to that.
No, because like growing up as a kid, my dad found a trash can guitar, and he always had it in our closet with all like our little kid jackets. And so it was always there, just this trash can guitar, thinking that like, oh, maybe somebody in the family played it or not, but it was always there.
And then what happened?
And then nothing. I don't know why this is out of focus, but
did it go back in the trash can, or did you play with it?
No, it was just always there and had like a high action. And you just like kind of like strum it briefly, and then nothing would happen.
Nothing would happen.
But
your camera might be steaming up because it looks like it's hot in CC Music Factory.
Yeah, I don't know.
And not just from the tune.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I'm in the blurry dimension. But I just want to say that I started music because my sister had a guitar in her room, and she just told me not to touch it.
Ah,
And so I just,
I bet that made you want to touch it, huh?
yeah, so you'd wait for her to leave and then you'd mess with it. But she'd put little like tricks. She'd put like the strap on a certain way, and then
Oh no.
yeah, she'd know, and then she'd like beat us up and stuff like that.
Oh, so you weren't that kind of guy like, let me put it back exactly the same way. Like,
I wasn't smart enough. I'm also not smart enough to make this in focus.
focus is just tell the audience to put on glasses. Plus,
Yeah.
like we'll just like if it's a real radio, we'll just cancel out the video anyways, whatever.
Twist the lens or something, no?
Yeah, I don't know. Just like it's kind of in focus if it's up close, but not like far away for some reason. It's like it's extra external.
It's probably it's McDonald's that wants to be.
Yeah, McDonald's is
captured.
censoring itself.
Watch. Maybe I'll
given
just.
technology. I don't think that would be too far off, dude. I don't think it'd be that far off, man.
Like that
It's in
episode
there.
of The
It's in-
Simpsons with the satellite for the Major League Baseball. It's like but a McDonald's satellite. Like, this guy's got a shirt on and he hasn't paid for it.
I don't want to go off.
Damn.
I don't want to go on a tangent, but that Marcy Simpsons was pretty crazy,
I haven't seen
Oh,
it.
I didn't
I heard
see
about it,
that.
but I didn't get to see it.
dude. It's really brutal. It's like so mean.
I gotta check it out then, because I know the guys from Flight of the Conchords worked on the music, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, it's because I followed them on social media and they were promoting it.
Dude, it's mean. It's
Yeah.
really
He's
mean.
an easy target these days.
Like not
It's
even funny mean.
I think I didn't keep up with all the bad stuff Morrissey has done. So when I saw it, I'm just like, they're ripping him apart. I felt really bad for the
Damn.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you've known the Smiths, you know that he's always kind of an asshole. So at this point, it didn't matter. I love the music. I don't like him.
But in the last 15 years, he's done so much horrible stuff that I guess he kind of deserves it. But it's pretty harsh.
I've heard that he's a total asshole. I don't know much about him though.
Yeah.
That reminds me of something. Good, I guess good way to switch on to this next question. It's not something I planned, but it came up. It's been coming up a lot lately. Like I saw somebody post about like, oh, I love this band, but they're also Nazis. Like, are you able to differentiate or separate the artist from what they do in their personal lives?
I think that's a case by case basis because
Yeah.
I like Ryan Adams, but I think he's in the doghouse for stuff he's done. And then when I listen to his music now, I think I don't listen to his music now. I just like it doesn't. I think he's like, he's colored and all that, but I don't really go to it. Same way, I don't think I would really listen to Bill Cosby comedy, in the same way.
Oh, for real. Yeah, I guess like when you go back to listen to the music again, it kind of takes on a different meaning now. You know what I mean?
Fair enough, fair enough,
So-
yeah.
What artist has that happened to you? Because for me, it's been Ryan Adams, I guess.
Fair enough.
Who's that question directed to?
Dave or Luis Kai or you, if there's been any like artist who's ended up being something completely different that you don't agree with, like Bill Cosby. Just someone like that, like
Pudding pops. Now I know what he means by pudding pops. He wasn't meaning pudding pops at all.
Damn. I guess for me, a big one would be like there was an author I used to like when I was a kid, and then when I got older, I found out that he was homophobic, and so like thinking back on like the books I read, like they kind of took on a different meaning, like knowing that that's what he thought, and like putting that into perspective of like what those books were about. You know what I mean?
Wait, is this Rodal or who is this?
Orson Scott Card.
Oh, okay. And I know, like, whenever I watch an old movie, and there's like Harvey Weinstein in the beginning, I'm like,
oh no, dude! I
know?
just recently learned about Harvey Weinstein, and oh my god, dude, that guy's terrible.
Yeah, for sure.
You ever listen to a podcast called Behind the Bastards?
No.
They basically talk about like the worst people in history, and they had like a 2-part episode about Harvey Weinstein, and man, dude. Like, I listened to the Hitler and the Stalin episodes, and I was like, yeah, that was fucked up. And then I was listening to the Harvey Weinstein one, and I was like, dude, this guy's fucking gross.
Yeah, man.
There's probably more of him out there than you think, and that's
it's probably all over Hollywood, yo.
I think even bigger. I think more than just Hollywood.
Definitely more.
I was
That's
going
what.
to say, all that stuff it's been going on since the beginning. So to me,
Mhm.
it's all the same. It's just, you read Hollywood Babylon, or you hear the stories and you look at that stuff. He's just the latest in a long line. That's why, to me, it's all hilarious. The sudden switch, and the people that took advantage of that, knowing full well what he and many others. He's not the only one by any means. But now, because it's easier for them to make a stand without having to feel that there will be repercussions, like they're going to lose money or lose work. Now it's easy for these people to say, "Oh, I hate the hypocrisy and the grandstanding." I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff at all. So, like I said, each person can make their own choice as far as where their line is, because if there's something that makes you not want to support somebody anymore, I get it. But it should be your choice. That's my bigger point for these kinds of things.
I mean, I think it generally is, but I think it's a good thing that it's easier for people to come forward about that shit, though. You know what I mean?
Right. Sure. But and then there's this, but the people going out of the way to make sure that nobody else can listen to that stuff or look at that stuff. That's the stuff that's when I get really annoyed about it, because it feels like, people are, you have to have the right views and the right this, you have to make the right statements. And
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
you know what I mean? The seeming requirements, that's why you don't hear about people like Robert Duvall or stuff, because they've been traditionally more conservative, but they don't play the game. They don't have to play the game anymore, so they don't. Like I said, ultimately it's personal choice. Everybody can decide what they want to do. But like I said, nothing's easy, despite what people want to make things out to be. But that's just me, But it should be, there's stuff that from anybody like that for me.
Louis C.K. or something.
No, I love him. Fuck what everybody says. I don't care. He's a comedian. He's supposed to be kind of fucked up, and also the stuff that they made around him. They made it seem like it was assault. No, it's just they didn't like it, and then years later, when other people were able to jump on it, they made it seem, and then it was twisted to, well, no, he abused his power. He wasn't a powerful comedian when this stuff happened, and he asked permission every time. So that's what I mean. But it got twisted because people want to, make it about something. But if people don't like him, that's fine. I don't care. I don't like him as a person per se, but he's funny as hell. But the only person I have that with is there's a comedian called Joey Diaz. He's one of the only people I can't get behind, because I've heard him. He's told these terrific stories, and he has no remorse about it at all.
Oh shit!
And I don't find him funny anyway, but that's easier. But that's
I
the
got
only
a friend
one
that's like all about Joey Diaz.
Yeah, he's becoming more popular, and I get it to a degree.
I honestly don't know like anything about him though.
Yeah, he was on a bunch of shows that I listened to back in the aughts, and he was just more of an asshole than he needed to be for what he was doing. But that's the only one I could think of. But also, since I didn't like him that much anyway, it was easy to say I don't do. But, what are you doing?
Cool. Well, thanks for that.
I talk a lot about this stuff.
Well, share it all. Share all your wisdom with us.
No, most people are going to think I'm just being an ass. And also too, there's bigger picture stuff, and like I said, I like to see things in larger scale. And seeing that kind of stuff, everything people were getting piled on because they like something or they don't like something. Well, it's our choice, isn't it? And that kind of stuff is really irritating. Yeah. But anyway, onward.
Thank you. This next question is, I've asked myself this question, so I'm curious if you guys can define it. Is there a difference to you guys between songwriting and composing?
Hmm.
When I think of composing, I think of instrumental music.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I feel like composing is writing the music. Songwriting would be like writing the words, right?
And
Yeah,
all of it.
there's like songwriting and arranging. I mean, when I write a song and I have like the lyrics and the chords, I'm like, there needs to be like a lead. You know, like there needs to be more space. You have to work on the pacing. So I'll think of like arranging and like where's the dynamics in the song.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I took a composing class. I think I was the worst.
Why is it?
Did you learn anything though?
No, I took a composing class
Damn.
at UCLA, and people were nice to me, but they were like at a different level, and I was writing. You know, you can, when you write something instrumental, you can call it whatever you want. So I was calling my compositions like Monkey Trouble, or like
That's tight. I like that.
or like Flying on the Wings of a Dragon.
I like those titles already, man. Where can I
Yeah.
find these compositions?
Yeah, they all sounded like video game music.
Even
and-
better.
Oh, tight. Yeah, way better.
No, everybody else was like really amazing, and they're really good. So
That's not neither here and there, man.
that's
You're not appreciating your own work. You're standing out in a room full of other musicians. That means you were operating in your own skill set. I guess you weren't more like being just like them.
Yeah,
My
man.
s-
You don't have to hold yourself to everyone else's standard.
Exactly, man.
yeah, but mine sounded like it was like a, you know, like Yoshi's Story or something, and their
That's
music.
tight though.
I'm like, I think you're like trying to make it sound bad, but you keep making it sound better.
No,
Yeah.
no, there was some girls that did jazz, and like their music blew me away. It was really amazing. Because that's my foray into composing. It was very small.
Well, okay.
I feel like there's a difference, or it it triggers different approaches. It's different approaches when you're doing it. I think composing can be very much mechanical, as far as saying, these the chords given a key, and you could say, okay, I want to do this and then here, and then I want to change this for a bridge and that kind of stuff. I could see that as composing. And then the songwriting, you take that, but it stems from something you've been hearing, and then you could figure out what's happening with it. And if you feel like you need to add more to that, you're doing it with an emotion already involved, and as a kind of template for what the song is going to be. I mean, it could be interchangeable to a degree, but when I think of composing, it's much more mechanical than songwriting. But both can be done the same way in that regard. And Dave, I agree with you. When I think of songwriting, I definitely consider more about lyrics too, as opposed to just music. I totally agree with it. That pops in my head too when I think of that, for sure.
When I've taken like songwriting classes or groups, I was when I first took it, I was very surprised that it was 90% lyrics. Like it started feeling like it's a poetry class. Like you're handing out your lyrics. No one will ever say, "Oh, the tempo's too slow," or like you should have done that chord changes. Everyone's talking about your lyrics. So I got used to that, but I it took me a while to get used to it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about
I mean,
you?
that's honestly something I've never really thought about, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it took me a while to start being more of a lyrical mind, and then I started thinking like maybe I went too far on that end of lyrics. Maybe I should go back to more music. It's the balance wherever you want to be on that scale.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No,
I
get-
usually only write lyrics if I'm like hit with like the inspiration for it. I mean, I like to just come up with riffs and stuff, you know?
It's a weird balance because like if it's too lyric heavy, then like they're gonna stop grooving and like try to listen to the lyrics. I don't know.
Oh,
Or
true, yeah. You need like breaks for the music, right? Let the song breathe a little bit.
It's the pacing and wherever you want to be on that scale. More lyrics, more music, you know.
That makes sense.
This-
Yeah, that's where more of the songwriting aspect comes in. Yeah, finding where lyrics, take a moment and have the music take over and change things up, adjust the dynamics. That's songwriting to me. Composing is more about, there's the key and the chords, and how can what can you do with them? Can you stack them? Can you do key changes and modulations, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that makes sense too. It's all wild.
I don't know if this is me being like biased or something, but I think songwriting or lyric writing is more difficult because like when it comes to chords, you can kind of feel like, whoa, this one comes next, or like you can like feel yourself and like, oh, this is gonna happen next. But like lyrics are just so exact. I mean, you can be so nitpicky on like, do you use the word like, which preposition you use? Do you use it, or do you use like the or her or his? You can really go so nitpicky with lyrics.
Yeah.
It's so much more exacting that
That's true. That's true.
it's harder if you really want to nail it. Well, music.
That's why I only write lyrics if I get like hit with that specific inspiration. Because I feel like if I try to force it, the lyrics come out like shit,
Oh yeah, you can't force that stuff. But sometimes
Whereas like if I'm, oh sorry,
I was gonna say I spend so much time in the lyrics that I think like I don't think anyone's really listening to lyrics.
oh, people pay attention to lyrics. Sometimes that's the best part of the song,
Yeah.
Sometimes like the song doesn't hit right until you read the lyrics.
I think the song needs to hit, and then if you actually like the song, you listen to it a bunch of times, and you can actually get into lyrics. It adds another layer. But it's hard to get those lyrics right, but you have to get the music right too.
For sure.
I like to think of it like the music is like when you walk in a room and you see a beautiful girl, the music is that attraction, the physical attraction, and like, or not, your eyes have met and like, oh, I want to talk to her. And the lyrics are when you actually get to those deep conversations and you like get to know the person like for who they really are. Those, to me, those are the lyrics.
True.
Yeah,
I guess like for me, the music is like the feeling, and then the lyrics are like the thoughts. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's a good way to put it. For sure. I mean, it's way easier for me to do the music to a song than the lyrics. Because the lyrics, I want them to, besides just finding rhythms and changing prepositions and finding the right way to have it fit the song and the melody and all that. Yeah, it's easier for me to do the music right away. Even if I have to do it composing, if I'm bouncing ideas off people, it comes a lot easier than lyrics. For sure. It's madness like that.
So with that, what you guys, what do you think of like when you approach like songwriting, for example? Do you approach it from let me write it all out first and then bring it to the table, or is it like let me just jam it out with whoever I'm working with? Or are you both?
That depends. I guess I'm both, because sometimes like I'll be at work and like I'll just start thinking of riffs, and then when I get home I get on my bass and I start playing them out, and then I'll take that to practice. But a lot of times too, I like to just get together and just see what we come up with, you know what I mean? Just like kind of jam it out like that. Yeah. So I guess I can do both, like just mix it up.
Yeah, because the reason I asked that question is because I've worked with people who I was surprised at how many I ran into were like, hey, you want to jam? Like, sure. And then they come in and they're like, we did it for 5 minutes, and they're like, they ran out of fuel, and they're like, I can't work this way. I need material to work on. And I was like, okay, man, it's fine.
Muscle.
Yeah. So
Sure.
that's why I'm like, I'm curious to see how like all you guys, like, how do you approach that?
Yeah, I started out first just playing alone and trying to do stuff, and I always found that difficult, especially because I was still learning about chords and scales and stuff like that. I was still trying to teach myself that kind of stuff, besides just picking songs out. When I got to that point of trying to come up with my own stuff, that took a while. But then once I got to a certain point with that, and I started jamming with people. That opened up everything for me, because, you know, since we were talking about, you know, composing, doing it kind of as a mental exercise and a knowledge exercise, and then songwriting where you can vibe off stuff. The jam, or, you know, improvising with people brings in a whole different element of energy. So that's why it's so much easier when I'm playing with somebody. I can go on for hours and hours with that. And also it helped that for once I started playing out, one of the groups I was with, we improvised almost all the time. So it was a great way to flex that and to really exercise it and to get better at it. So now I prefer it in a lot of ways. But I found Ish and that a lot of people can't jam. And it's not that they're not good or anything. It's not that at all. Usually they're very talented. It's just, it's not something they exercise. It's something you have to work on. You have to get better at.
I think a lot of people are kind of self-conscious about it.
Mm-hmm.
That too, man, for sure. Yeah.
I think they just get nervous. I'm pretty sure most musicians can do it. I think they just get nervous.
Yeah, they get nervous and start just doing the roots and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
That's probably a good way to get comfortable with it, though. Just do the roots and all that. Just start with the basics, and then when you get comfortable with it, you'll be doing it like it's nothing.
Right.
Yeah, but you got to put your
But
own
I also think that's a great way to... Ah, damn, sorry.
I was going to say, you have to put your own stank on it, you know? And like, if I picked up the bass...
Oh, yeah, that's why, like, you just do that to start.
Yeah, for sure.
Good.
That's why for me, like if I want to jam with a person, the first thing I do, it has nothing even to do with music. It's like, it's creating the space for that person. Cause like, for me, it's like, I can jam, I have no problem with it, but I'm about to walk in with the room with people that have no idea if they know how to do it. So like the first thing I want to make sure is they're comfortable in the room. Like I make them not worry about gear. Like, don't worry about gear. Like, just come in and just fucking have fun, you know? So like whatever you need, smoke weed or have a sip of alcohol if you need to, but when you just fucking chill, man. It's like, you know, this isn't like we're not performing on stage. Usually that's what I spend like the first couple of 15 minutes trying to get that energy going.
But for me, like I can jam with Jane, but to cross over from that jam being a song, like, rarely happens. Like, because the whole thing for me to feel like a song is I could put something into it. Like, I need to really connect. And I can connect with the riffs, but if I'm opening my mouth and I'm not connecting with the lyrics, I'm just like, yeah, this is not a song. Like, throw it away. So it's very rare for me personally to jam out a song and actually make lyrics fit and that I could really connect with. Like, so much to Jane's disappointment and anger, we jam out these fun songs, and then I'll say, yeah, we have to throw that away, and she'll be like, why are you doing this? And like, I'm just torturing her.
Oh, well, then that's where you bring other people to help with lyrics.
That's true.
Because that's where you could use that if it's something, you know, that people want to get better at. That's where you can bring the composition aspect of it. Or say, okay, we've got this music, and it was created through emotion and all that. Well, now how can we adjust to that? You know, how can a person connect to that and then come up with lyrics? It can be done. We've done it like that quite a bit with Mango and some other stuff I've done. It can be done, but I understand where if it can be frustrating to try to figure out, for sure.
Definitely. Let me see. I'm gonna change gears here on you. So because like we're we're already like 30 minutes in. I want to make sure like I jump into the other stuff.
I guess
So I wanted to know, how long have y'all been playing in the LA music scene?
Damn, I'm not really sure.
Well,
That's a good
I'm lucky
question.
in that, yeah.
Maybe about 5 or 6 years, something like that. Because before that, I used to just play in the IE.
How long were you playing out there?
Damn, that's a good question too. I think I started playing in bands when I was like 17. So I guess, damn, how old am I? At least 10 years.
I feel you, bro. I feel that the older you get, the like, what? How old am I?
Yeah, stuff starts to blur.
I think I've been playing music and playing shows since I was a kid, since I was like 13 to 14. But playing the LA scene, it always felt like it just started with me and Jane as the Heartthrobs. Like before anything else, like we didn't care. And so, yeah, it's got to be like when we met you, like in the old airliner days and stuff like that.
Oh, the airliner was tight.
Yeah, so rest in peace. It's still there and it still says the airliner, but I haven't heard or seen anything about it.
Because it was supposed to be just like a restaurant now, not a like they don't play music. That's what I heard that was happening. So it's just a regular old restaurant and bar thing.
Bummer.
Even playing the tiny weird side stage thing was fun at times.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Let's see. Well, it's easy for me to mark when I started playing in LA because I wasn't living in LA for a long time. I came back. I moved here after many years, and within a year, it took me about a year to get something going because I didn't know anybody. I tried I was living in the Bay Area before that, and it was easy to get a gig.
Tight too.
Oh, dude, I loved it. I still miss it, man. I really do. But up there, it was in the 2000s. It was really easy to get a gig. You would just call up the bar or venue and just say, "Hey, what spots do you have open?" Well, we have this. We have this. Okay, cool. We know these people. Can we put them on? Sure. It's an open night. Let's just fill it up. Let's get it out there. And that was it. So when I came to LA, I tried doing that for months and months, and every single place that said, "Do you know a promoter?" No. Click.
Damn.
Yeah. So it took a really long time, and it was only by fortune that I got one.
I was gonna say, we got a show in San Jose like that once. Just called them up, and they were like, "Yeah, you can jump on this."
Yeah,
cool. You see, isn't that beautiful? Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that's pretty. It was badass.
San Jose's a wild town.
Yeah. You know what? San Jose and Concord, both of those cities, we got shows like that, and they were badass shows.
Concord. Let's see. Was it Wally's? Do you remember?
It was the Red Hat. I think it was called the Red Hat.
Must have been New York then. It was in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I haven't lived there for a while, so there weren't that many when I was there, unfortunately. Concord's a cool little place.
But I think like some of the best shows we've played were in Oakland, though, for sure. Oakland's fucking crazy.
Oakland's a fun place, man, for sure.
Yeah, dude, we got to play with fucking verbal abuse in somebody's living room, dude. That shit was awesome. That shit was fucking crazy. All these fucking people packed in this fucking living room to see verbal abuse.
Nice. That's really cool, man. Yeah, that stuff happens. Yeah, if it happens, I don't know how it happens there. You have to know somebody in Echo Park or Silver Lake. I don't know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, you can say cool stuff. But yeah, we played some living rooms, but it was a different set of circumstances.
How was it for you, David Benitez, with the Black Heartthrobs? How was it finding shows in LA?
It was the airliner and like using MySpace And like,
Yeah.
you know, I think we're lucky to find Vince and then find people. You know,
Well,
probably it's still hard to find shows.
yeah, I was thinking, I don't know who, I'm not sure who to talk to because a lot of the venues that we've been playing the last years are gone. A lot of the promoters are gone. I
Yeah,
don't know.
probably
I don't
Luis and
know.
I. Luis and I have been doing this for a while, and people change. You know.
Yeah, people change all the time. They stop doing it or venues change. Yeah, I'm
Probably
not
just need to
quite
get out to some
sure.
shows and like talk to these people. Then you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the
When
bars
they
haven't
open up,
opened up yet to allow music, except like
yeah,
in Orange County or something, right?
yeah,
Oh
not
yeah,
really.
yeah.
Nothing is opened yet. I don't know. Well, we'll see. Yeah, it's sad. Even if things open up and people start getting out, I'm not sure. Yeah, how it's gonna go. Yeah, we'll see.
I super miss live music right now, yo.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
We're
I think I've
almost
been
there.
making up for the lack of live music by buying too many fucking vinyls.
Yeah,
Bro, like you post that like almost every day, man. Like you got a new vinyl, like man.
What are
I
you
wish I had-
buying? Are you buying new stuff or old stuff?
A mix of both. I'm getting some new, like there's been a lot of like really cool new metal releases, and then you know, I'll search the thrift stores and find cool shit. I just found this these 78s of like this old Italian piano player. That shit was pretty cool.
Damn. And the big,
Yeah.
those boxes, they're like that. And,
Yeah, it's like a fucking like a photo album for records and shit.
yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it's a few. Those are sweet.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. They're pretty neat.
It's funny because over the years I've gone to several different thrift stores, like antique stores, and I always see the same records in all these stores. I'm like what the heck? Like why are they all the same ones are always in the same place? I could always like I'm like I recognize that album when I saw it at the other thrift store.
They're probably ones that
Maybe
are
those
too
are just all the
popular.
albums nobody likes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's messed up, man. I should take some of those and then let me sample these and let me like spruce them up, you know.
Do you even have a record player?
I do. I have all my records up here.
Oh, okay.
It's funny. I bought up my
Hi.
first record was before I even bought a record player, and it was funny because like my friend gave it to me. It was like a box set of Elvis's like greatest hits, and it's 4 records, and it's like this thick the box, right? So I'm like, they're like, I'm gonna throw it away. You want it? I'm like, I'll take that shit. I don't even have a record player, but I will get one now. So like I threw that in there, you know, listen to it. I'm like, all right, cool. Like you could see his like evolution of his music style. So that was cool because I never really like dove into Elvis until I got that record.
That's awesome.
Oh, tight.
Christmas album. I think there's some Christmas songs in there.
I
always avoid the Christmas ones because I don't really like Christmas music.
I just bought this I bought this last weekend.
Awesome. Does it have Blue Christmas on it, or is it a specific?
Yeah, it's got to have Blue Christmas on it, man. Yeah, that's the first song for sure.
How much was that, baby?
So I went on like an estate sale, and it was like a building or a company in Inglewood going out of business. So it's listed $40 on sale for $20, and I got it for 50 cents.
Hell yeah. That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that I like right there.
I'm all about the deals.
That's the way to do it. That's awesome. Yeah. I don't have a record player. I don't have the room for it right now. But I have some vinyl, but it would mostly be older stuff that I would get because digital recording transferred onto vinyl doesn't have the punch, you know. The reason a lot of vinyl sounds good is because it was analog, at least for my ears. That's why I like vinyl.
Yeah, there was this musician I know that was explaining to me the process how they make vinyl, and because like I kept asking them like, hey man, when is your record coming out? And they're like, oh, we're still working. I'm like, what's taking so long? He's like, oh, it's because like I've spent so much time recording and editing it that when I transfer it over to the vinyl, I want to make sure that all those things I work so hard on come through. because it's all about the pressing and how the grooves cut into the plastic. If they don't, because there's different qualities. If you get the cheaper stuff, like it's not gonna sound as clean. So like he wanted, like he was very very specific of what he wanted. So that's why I'm always kind of like, I'm not sure if I want to spend $50 on a vinyl nowadays. They won't sound any different than if I just bought it on CD or digital version. That's kind of why I try not to buy new ones.
Right. I mean, but some people are more aware of that, and if they make the effort, because yeah, it's not a catch-all. It's not a magic mark, a magic book of anything. It has to be done well. It has to be done well for new stuff, because like I said, a lot of it was because of the analog production and how it was recorded that made it sound so good. Because even an analog, something recorded in an analog put on CD, it loses quite a bit, but it still sounds better than something that was digital and put on CD. But a lot of it, but still, it takes a different. That's why the first generation of CD sounded like shit, because people didn't understand the transfer, and they didn't realize how much compression was going to happen with those files and how it was going to be different. Yeah, it was a weird thing. They got better at it after a few years, but it took them a while. And that's how I feel with a lot of like new vinyl. But
Is that
there
you
are people
doing
that do it
this?
well.
What was that?
Is that you making music with your mug?
Oh yeah, I was doing this.
I was like, where's that coming
I
from?
didn't
I'm like, is that in my
realize
head? Is that in my
No.
head?
I need to cut my nails. That's what that means.
Oh,
Do you guys how do you guys feel about the difference between playing alone in your room and playing with a band? Like, is I never play alone, so I don't know what the difference is, but like, is there like, do you notice a big difference? Like, do you value playing with people more, or what comes up for you around those two things?
Don't you play guitar?
Not really. Like, I don't play guitar like on my own sometimes. Like sometimes I'll touch it, but not really. Not like to the level like where you just practice with a metronome and do all that stuff. Like, not.
Oh, what were you gonna say, Dave?
yeah.
What's up?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something before.
Well, in regards to playing alone, I mean, because that's how I started playing alone and just trying to learn and doing all that. So I did that for years before I ever played out. And then once I played out, it took over. Did that for many until recently. It was a 15-year jump of playing live, and then now to stop. I mean, I'm going crazy not playing live and vibing off of something, but at least I can play music, and so it's kind of made me learn how to appreciate playing alone again. But I am chomping at the bit. I'm not gonna. I cannot wait. But it's cool to reconnect to that, as opposed to just making it feel like you're rehearsing or practicing. Just to play on your own is cool. It has offered something that I hadn't done in a long time because I hadn't had to think about it.
Does like playing with, I was just gonna add, like, does it playing with somebody affect the feel? Like say you learn the song and then you bring it to the band, and then to cover or something, right? And then like just that other person coming into the rooms and that energy of how they play, like, does that completely?
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, it changes everything, and that's its own joy. And then if you took the same song, took it to somebody else, it would change, and that's the joy of that. Definitely.
I think when it comes to playing live, I'm very comfortable playing in a band, and if I play by myself, like, that comfort is gone, and I get so nervous. It's like It's
I
like
haven't seen you alone. Now that I think about
exactly. It's like it's like open mic and my leg is shaking, all that stuff.
it. I understand that. I can see that.
But playing making a song by myself and then playing it with a band, that's different because sometimes I'll get like demo-itis where I feel like, oh, maybe it was better when it was just me and a guitar, and even though that's not the way I want the song to be. So you definitely have to like recreate the song with a band, and it takes some time to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of the times, like whatever music I write isn't really complete without a band. You know what I mean? And I mean, I could sit in my room for hours and just fucking play my bass. You know what I mean? Like I love doing that, but it's way more fun for me to play with other people.
Yeah, I always think
Have you ever really?
if it's just you, it's just like me, and it's like it's so small that you need other people to bring in whatever they have, to add to the recipe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Have you ever,
Are you
you guys
ever
ever,
really alone without the band?
what was that?
I was gonna say to Dave, are
What was
you ever
that?
really alone? You have Osgood there, don't you?
Yeah, I'm
He's
Jane.
not-
I married my
no,
drummer.
Oh yeah.
well, no, but yeah, you'd have Jane, but then Dave's got Osgood in the room.
In fact,
Yeah,
he's right
yeah,
back here.
yeah, I was gonna say, that's what I was saying. You're never alone.
Well, Ogden doesn't play anything
Oh,
but the
Osgood, I'm sorry.
Slimeberine.
Oh,
The Slamboree. Have
Yeah,
you guys
I'll
ever
fucking
played
Jane.
with somebody who like never played with someone in their lives, and then you're the first person they play with?
Oh yeah, it's like having sex with a virgin. Yeah. Cool.
How did it feel to play with a virgin?
Dude, it was brutal. It was brutal. I mean, obviously we didn't play a show because, and it's happened a few times where I've been in that situation. Yeah, they all the things that people feel on their own, it just becomes amplified if there's somebody else. Like really people don't want to play, uh, won't necessarily want to do a solo show, and that's perfectly understandable. Everything's different, for everybody. So all their insecurities, which we all have, it's just that some of us, it just takes we've had the chance to develop and to learn how to overcome
Experience and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, the experience comes in, and then it's so glaring when they don't have it, and it's they could play circles around you, but if you put them in that situation, they melt, and and it's you should. I've never said, "Oh, fucking moron, never play again." No, I said, just play. It takes time. Don't get freaked out about it. Because it took me a
Shit, I
long
remember
time.
I used to get nervous when I would play.
Yeah, it takes time. Because it's a different muscle, it's a different experience, it's a different way of connecting to people, and using that connection to create something with the music. It becomes a different thing. So yeah, I would never give anybody shit about it. It was a bad experience as far as trying to get something going, but I would never fault them for that, as far as and make them feel that they shouldn't do it. Never.
Oh yeah, that'd be terrible, yo.
Yeah. That's the only time I'm not a bully. I'm not an asshole.
I think the only time I've jammed with
it.
musicians who had never played with anybody before was just in my first band. I don't think any of us had ever played with anybody before.
Oh right,
That was it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the journey together. Yeah.
That's how it was with my first band too. None of us need I didn't even know how to play the drums on my first band. So like, hey, we're all learning together, guys.
Yeah, it's a great way to. Yeah,
I used to play the keyboard in my first band.
Oh, awesome.
I didn't even pick up the bass until maybe like 2 or 3 years later.
You still play keyboard sometimes?
A little bit, sometimes, yeah. I was fucking around with it yesterday.
Oh yeah, I saw the picture of your keyboard and your synth pedal.
Yeah, that just sounded cool. I feel like I just turned my keyboard into an 80s synthesizer with that pedal.
Yeah, you
It's a
gotta
little
get some Geddy
redundant,
Lee
though.
stuff going on. Yeah, you got to. Oh, you can do stuff with it. Do Geddy Lee, man. He used both.
Oh,
he
yeah, right.
melded it together. Could be done.
That'd be pretty
yeah.
badass. That would be pretty badass.
Well, you don't need to. You got two
Look at that.
keyboardists, right? In your band, you got a keyboardist and a synth player, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Then we'd have 3 fucking
Wall of
keyboards
synths.
and shit.
Yeah, a wall of synths. Yeah, that could be
Yeah.
cool.
Hey, that could be cool though.
That reminds me of this video I saw of Depeche Mode where they're like playing live and everybody had a keyboard. I'm like, where are the drums? On the keyboard.
You don't need keyboards in the 80s. I mean, you don't need drums in the 80s.
I know, it's so funny. I'm like, bro, they all got, where's the bass? Keys. Everybody had keys.
Hey, synth bass sounds tight though.
Yeah, good dude. Yeah, I think it's coming back. It seems like there are some people who are busting out like the little synths or the chaos pads, and they're doing it like that. You know?
Yeah.
It can be done.
I want to see people bust out. I want to see people busting out guitars.
We're trying to get our keyboardist and Twisted Black Soul. Stevie Wonder Bread to get one. He didn't want one. I'm like, come on, bro.
Ah,
Cool.
that'd be so cool though.
I've seen a show with a guitar. It was a while ago, but she pulled it off. She made it sound cool. She was singing and playing the guitar. It sounded awesome.
Tight.
It sounded really. She made it work for the music. It sounded great. Yeah, it's just people get this. Yeah, it was so defined in the '80s, and it became such an image on its own, and it kind of took the good and the bad of the '80s, all the stuff about it. So a lot of people just have this thing, you know. It's like it became what the talk box was in the '80s. You know, for a while nobody wanted to use talk boxes anymore on guitar because it was just so overused after Peter Frampton made it popular. And
so when I think of talkbox, I think of Peter Frampton. But who do you think of when you hear guitar?
I think of Frankie Goes to Holland, to be honest.
Okay.
Or yes, that did it quite a bit too in the '80s. And they had some good songs on it because the dude was playing keys and synths, and then he switched to guitar. But you know, that guy's amazing. Didn't Nick Mason do it a couple times in the '80s with Pink Floyd? I think he did.
Probably because every time I think of a guitar, I always think of some prog band like Dream Theater. Like they did it. I was trying to remember if like any other metal bands. Probably I think also like
metal bands. No,
Symphony
I can't think of any metal band that ever did. I mean, it took a long time for them to deal with synths. Guitar would be too far. I'm sure it's. I mean, now you hear some synths for sure in metal, which is fine. But yeah, I don't know if they're ready to make the jump. The guitar, you never know.
That'd be tight though. That'd be tight.
If you could
some
make
like
it work,
brutal ass death metal with a guitar player.
Yeah, hitting the high melody or something. Fuck yeah.
Fucking doing those like noodly solos and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Or using it as a using the lower parts for sludge as a kind of a bass underneath. I could hear that.
Yeah.
You could see them like with the dum 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 dum.
Yeah.
Some kind of wave underneath with the guitar could be done. Oh, fuck yeah, why not?
So it's like shaped all weird, you know, and they're like
shaped like a coffin or some shit.
Yeah. Exactly.
Shaped like a cock. Exactly.
Could be done. It can be done. Just who will do it? We'll have to see. Next Brain Fragment show, I guess that's what we're seeing, right?
I'm not gonna lie though, I would actually love to pick up a guitar.
Just for one song, just come out of nowhere, play the bass on there.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, with an octave.
Yeah. Bust out that synth bass.
There you go, man.
Yeah.
Hey, have you guys seen those electric saxophones?
No. I've seen electric violins and stuff.
Fucking tight.
Oh,
I super want an electric saxophone. I mean, I just want a saxophone. I want every instrument. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I want every fucking instrument. And I want to learn how to play them all.
It looks like a clarinet or something. I just pulled up some pictures. Yeah, I haven't seen anybody really use those.
That's why you get a keyboard. It has all the instruments in there, man. Just change the tone.
I mean, yeah,
looks like a
but it looks like a saxophone. I'm assuming you play it like a
I'm looking-
saxophone.
Not the ones I'm looking at. These look like
He's looking at dirty organs.
Yeah.
I think I just
Some
threw
of the
away a
Organs are tight too,
saxophone.
though.
You just threw away a saxophone, bro?
Yeah,
What?
yeah. I
Damn.
probably have an extra trombone if you want it.
Tromboner.
Shit, I'll take it.
Yeah, I have an extra one if you want one.
Ty, let me get it.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah, dude. See, connections. Yeah, that's all it takes.
Ty.
Oh man, yeah, I could never. I can't have a sax here. The dogs would freak out.
I always wanted a trumpet, but
Trumpets are
Trumpet
tight too.
for my mariachi band.
Yeah, I just bought a trumpet. I brought a trumpet during the pandemic thinking I would learn it on my own, and it's too hard. I can barely play Baby Shark.
Is it the blowing aspect that's hard, or is it the positioning of the pistons, or?
It's the blowing. It's the blowing aspect.
Yeah, no, it hits us all differently, baby.
It's too
Hey,
hard.
how
to,
do you?
the
how do you
aperture.
play
It's too
a
hard.
trumpet?
Or whatever
Yeah,
it
because
is.
like you have to like put your lips together, right, and then blow. That
Yeah, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah, it's
so you need
it's
like
pretty hard.
powerful diaphragm and lungs like that. Like Dio was a trumpet player, and like that's why they say he was such a good vocalist, because he had, he had strong lungs and diaphragm from trumpet playing.
That
And
makes
plus,
sense.
it's all different with like the spit valve and all that stuff, and it's crazy. It's too hard.
Well, I've
It's
always wondered because like it's just got like those 3 buttons, right? Like, how do you
Mhm.
make notes? How do you?
I think it's like you can do like one, each individual or 2 at the same time, and then you have to position your lips differently so it jumps an octave or jumps a couple notes.
Yeah, like the recorder, because I play the recorder all the
Mm.
time, and then I
Do
remember,
you?
yeah. Haven't you been to Twisted Black Social? So, in one of the shows, it was for actually we played with Brain Fragment. I think it was for you guys' birthday. I learned the Dragon Ball Z theme song, and I'm like, how do I hit those high notes? So I had to look up the tabs, and then I never learned how to do that, and it's like it was completely different because I had to learn how to like it had to do with like one, your finger positions have to be different, like halfway covering the hole, which was already complicated, and then it was like you have to like blow differently so that it doesn't sound off. It'll be weird. I practiced it, but when it came down to playing it live, it sounded like shit. I couldn't nail it. It was just I just didn't have enough time to practice it, but I played it regardless, but it just didn't come out as good as I thought it would be.
Yeah, I
Practice
sucked at
it
the
some more.
recorder.
Practice it some more.
I feel like that's all it really takes is practice anyway, right?
Yeah, I haven't touched that recorder since we stopped playing shows.
Ah,
I remember all the songs from like middle school and high school when I played it, but I haven't really like looked at my music tabs and stuff. We're almost out of time here, guys.
that's crazy. They got tabs for that.
It's like, well, it's actually music, like actual notes. That's how I learned how to read music, is when I learned the recorder. That was my first intro to music. I didn't know there was a bass clef till like I was like David Benitez. I took a music theory class. They're like, "Can you read music?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then I learned the hard way that I did not.
Ah.
And then you just
I
made
took-
video game music.
Exactly.
I took a music theory class, but I didn't learn anything. I somehow passed the class, but I didn't leave the class knowing anything.
Man.
You know, I don't understand.
It's tough,
I
bro. I had
passed
to
all
go
the
back.
tests, but I retained no knowledge.
That's how I know school is bullshit, man. I went back and took music 101. I'm like, listen, I want to do it the right way. So I went back because my ego was like, I'm a drummer. I don't need to learn all that stupid shit. But I'm like, wait a minute. I think the musicians would benefit. I would benefit knowing all that stuff. So I took music 101, and it was cool because there was no teacher. It was all in the computer and the notebook. I'm like, perfect. That's me. I could learn at my own pace. So I ended up learning a lot. And I actually like, when I was in Decision Incision, Eladio and I will always like work together. Like I was able to help him at least sometimes with that, having that knowledge. And like I even used it when I worked with like other projects where it was just me and a guitarist, or like, hey, what note should I use here? And I'm like, why don't you try this? And that's kind of that helped. And I'm glad that I took that music 101 class.
Yeah. So maybe I should take that. I mostly learn, like, if I want to learn something new, I just look up YouTube tutorials, you know? That's how I learned my arpeggios by watching Scott's bass lessons.
For the most part, that works. Sometimes, like for me, end up confused more because there's so many different ways of doing the same thing. And I think it's
Oh
like,
yeah, true.
it's all up to you, I guess, in the end, what works for you. But I feel like I end up getting more confused than actually finding what I wanted to find.
Oh yeah. I feel like I wish I would have learned my arpeggios right off the bat because it would have made things so much easier.
You don't know what you don't know, man. You probably didn't think you need them,
That's
right?
true. Yeah, not when I started. Because when I started, I just thought I was gonna play punk, you know. I didn't think I was gonna do like complex shit.
Do y'all over there learn watch stuff on YouTube? Dave Benitez and Luis Calle?
No,
Like music stuff?
I learned the best way I learned was through reading some pretty dense books on Beatles and Beach Boys. So I really learned what they were doing, and I would figure out what they were doing in every song. And me doing it on my own with this book was really important for me. Like, yeah.
Beatles, Beatles is my education too. Beatles and Neil Young were how I started. I would listen and try to and do it by ear, and then this was also the prime time for guitar magazines, Guitar Player, Guitar One, Guitar World, all those, and so they all had tabs for different songs. So a lot of times, I couldn't necessarily do everything in the tab, but I saw how they were putting stuff together, and I saw what chords were working, what things sounded like. So, and then taking that and doing it by ear with my own stuff. That's how I learned. And then now, well, I'm taking lessons now, but only because after like 20 something years of trying to learn on my own, I said, well, let me try to change the paradigm and do some different stuff. So stuff that I learned but didn't understand actually makes sense now. So that's cool. That's been a lot.
I feel like the more I learn about music, the more I realize that it's just a lot of little techniques put together.
Yeah, a lot of different things for sure.
Do you guys record like everything you do, like as like jams? Do you record practices, or are you? David needs to says no. Are you like very particular what you record?
I could record everything, but like, yeah, I don't really record jams. I record when I have a song, I'll record like a little nugget of it and then just keep, and like I'll look at on my phone and like, oh, I should develop that nugget.
I do that too, but when we practice, usually Lewis or Ash will record the whole practice, and then if we get like a jam going and there's something in there that we liked, we'll like go back to that and listen to it and see if we remember how we played it, and then we'll fuck with that, you know. Or like when I'm with myself, I'll only record it if I like it and I want to keep fucking with it. Because otherwise, I'd have like fucking hours and hours of shit on my computer like all the time, you know. And there's no way I'm gonna sift through fucking 4 hours of shit, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I
I'll
do.
record something. Yeah, I'll record something if I hear something really specific. I go, okay, I got to record this before I forget it. And then I could also put say, okay, it's this key, this pitch or whatever, this octave, and I'll record, and then I can go back to that. But yeah, I don't record the only time we recorded jams or practices where we said, okay, let's see if we can come up with something specifically. Otherwise, yeah, we don't record it. We wouldn't record every session either. And now I'm barely learning how to do record on a computer, because most of my life I never had to, and the technology wasn't there. And now in the last years it's happening, but I never so I had no experience with it. So it's learning a whole new skill set, and it's taken me a long time to get even the basics down. But now I have to learn how to mix and do all that stuff. But at least I can record something and make it sound all right, and be able to put other stuff to it. But it took a long time, and I admit that's the function of my age, because I spent years just playing live. I didn't bother with recording, or and a lot of I'm sure a lot of younger people, they have the access to do it right away, so they learn really fast and it's easy for them. But that's something which is a positive of all the digital stuff. Yeah, people can just get it right away and get better from the start with all the recording.
It just made me feel old. When my band started, we literally used tapes. We had those Radio Shack long tape recorders. We put the tape, we placed it in the middle of the garage. We recorded our songs on there. Right. I still have those tapes, but it was like, dude, it's just like every time I would go to Guitar Center just to ask questions about recording, it always made it sound complicated. And I'm like, never mind, I'm just gonna stick to this tape. Like all I do is press record, and I'm good to go. Like I don't need this little thing to plug in all the stuff, and then you need software. And like come on, man, just want something easy. I just want to worry about the music. But later down the line, when started getting sophisticated, I got like those gamer mics. And that was our mic to record. We just put it in the middle of the garage. I'm like, all right, we're high tech now. We got a mic that connects to the computer. And so we just started doing that. And like, now we got this thing, which is technically, this is like a, it's not really meant for recording everything. It's just like, but it works for what we need it. And then like, we actually record every practice. So I have hours and hours of music, but I listen to it back, because when I'm writing, I don't want to think about the music. I want to just feel it out. And then so everything is taped and recorded, and I go back and listen to it. I'm like, oh, I could do this there. I could do this. So at the next practice, I changed it. So then that's kind of how I approach the songwriting and adjusting the drum parts to it, because I'm in the moment. I'm not thinking about all that stuff.
Yeah.
So true. When I was in my old punk band, we used this little like digital voice recorder, and we would do that, just put it in the middle of the room.
Oh, I forgot about that. We tried that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It wasn't the best, but it worked. Now we just use we have those audio interfaces and just connect it to a laptop. And then everyone's got their headphones on, and we can jam like that.
Yeah, that helps.
And I mean, everything comes out sounding clean,
Yeah, those things work like a lot better. We had a setup like that. Like having a consistent band like practice space helps, because you could just leave the gear set up. And I remember a couple of times we started to like slowly invest in like gear. We got mics, drum mics, and everything. And like, dude, you just walk in, there's wires everywhere, because like, and then we just put on our headphones and like, all right, let's jam. And like you could hear everything clean, because like everything's mic'd. So that's like ideally like my favorite thing to do, like it's practicing those conditions, because otherwise it's like I don't even know what you guys are doing. All I just hear is but I guess that's good practice for when you
I wish we had a spot like that.
When you play live, that's all you hear, right? This is like there's no monitors.
You know what? I feel like if you have earplugs in, for some reason I feel like I can hear everything a little more clean, when I play live.
Interesting.
It muffles everything, but like it feels cleaner.
I feel the opposite way. I every time I put on, I things get filtered, so you hear less. At least that's what I feel like. I started practicing like, oh, you gotta take care of your ears. So I bought earplugs specifically for musicians, right? And then after playing with them and practice, I'm like, fuck this shit, man. Fuck. I ended up having to I ended up buying those things you use to like mow your lawn. And I cover one ear, and then I have one ear open, so that at least I'm protecting the ear that's facing the amps, and then I could hear from the sound that's bouncing off the walls. So that's kind of how we do it now.
No, you need the right earplug. You need the ones that are like filtered. Those are better. Instead of the ones that you buy at like a shooting range. You need.
No, I don't use those. No. I tried those, and those were very bad.
Yeah, those make you feel very disconnected from what's going on. But the ones
Right.
with filters are all right. I'm okay with those.
Yeah, I use those, and I feel great with those because I'm very conscious about my ears too. So yeah, perfect those. Yeah, I don't feel like I'm losing anything. Yeah, and what David was saying, sometimes with well, if you get the right one, yeah, you actually do hear things clear because it's taking out a lot of the the fuzz on the higher and lower frequencies, so you can hear the kind of the more focused mid range, and it's
Yeah.
it's not as loud, but you hear it better. You know where things are going, and it's
Yeah.
not affecting you in the same way. For sure. Yeah, that's what I prefer. Indeed.
I gotta take a look at my. I mean, they were specifically designed for musicians. The ones that I bought, you know, they were, you know, quite expensive. So I figured it's an investment on my hearing. But you know, I don't use them
Yeah.
because of that. Like, it actually prevents me from hearing what's going on. So
You
maybe
just
I'm
got to
doing
find the
something
right.
wrong.
You just have to find the
Maybe
right
they're
one.
just not for you then.
Yeah.
I'll send you a link to the ones I use that I'm pretty happy with.
Cool, man. I'll take a look at that. So we're pretty much out of time. So I got one more question. This
Go
is
for it.
so. What drives you to keep going? You know, knowing like what the LA music scene's like, you know, like, you know, you still playing at dive bars and things like that. Like what keeps driving you to keep doing all this?
I just like to do it, yo. I'm just having fun. There's no reason for me to stop.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
don't. Yeah, I'm like addicted. I don't know if I could stop. I mean, that's just who I am. I don't know.
Oh, I love live music and I love making music. So I'm like killing two birds with one stone by making live music.
Indeed. Yeah, it's you know, it took I stayed away, you know, out of being self-conscious or whatever from trying to learn how to play music. But once I did, I said, oh no, this is the one thing that makes me feel all right, you know. And whatever's happening, you know, you're playing and it just hits. And yeah,
Yeah.
I wish I could play live music more right now, but even just once a week, I just set up and just play tunes and trying to figure them out, and that still it just feels you. And then playing during the week and just getting it in there, yeah, it's just beautiful, man. You don't need, I mean, all the other trappings and bullshit about it. Yeah, it's stuff you got to deal with, and you know, all this stuff with the pandemic and the closures is, you know, it's just one, it's another in the list of many obstacles for wanting to play specifically in LA and around it, you know. But they, you know, we've overcome them before. We'll overcome them again. But you know, in the end, it's because you want to do it. You know, you gotta love it, and you do. Thankfully.
Awesome. Well, appreciate all you guys still out there playing music, man. Like have knowing like how long you guys been doing it and still doing it, and still you guys posting like, oh, we're playing here live. That's inspiring, and that helps other. I feel like as a musician, like all right, I'm gonna keep going as well. You know, have knowing that there's other musicians doing it too.
We're out there later. Do the damn thing.
So thank you guys for being yourselves, man. We need more authentic people out there. So I wanted to say thank you guys for joining me tonight and being part of this thing that I still don't know what it is. I just wanted to make sure that you know, we got the time to get together and chat about all this, I guess, very nerdy technical music stuff, and other
Fuck
nonsense
it.
and records and vinyl. So I didn't get to introduce you guys in the beginning because I'm a terrible host. So we
Oh
got
no.
y'all gotta wait to the end. We got Dave from Brain Fragment, Luis
Yo.
Calle from Mango Napalm, and then David Benitez, who changed it to Dave just to confuse people, from
Exactly.
Oh no.
Black Heartthrobs. We got Dave Square here.
Yeah.
Damn.
Next time we'll get more Daves.
All Daves, dude. All Daves.
All day.
Nothing but Dave.
We gotta get Lewis from Brain Fragment and with me and another Lewis.
Yeah, we get the
Yeah.
Luises and Lewises.
All Lewises, all Daves.
And we'll have to, yeah. I can't think of too many James right now. But, we'll figure it out. Or too many Ashleys. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it
I
out,
only
man.
know one is too.
Thank you guys for being part of the first Radio Colorado, and I'll post it up soon. So
Right on, baby.
peace out, mofos.
Thanks for having me, yo.
Yeah, thank you.